What's up, y'all? And welcome back to the Warsheep podcast. Listen, in light of a lot of the most recent attacks and also the tragic passing and death of Charlie Kirk, listen, there's been some things brewing, right? And if we can get a deeper understanding biblically of what type of times we're facing ahead of us, right? The perilous times, the times that we're currently looking at, you got to understand this, y'all, that the response in regards to Charlie Kirk's death should reveal so much to you right now. It should reveal so much in regards to where we're at biblically, where we're at spiritually, where we're at in all these other aspects and facets of what we know to be end times, right? Let's take a deeper dive, right? Into today, we're diving deep into prophecy that most churches won't even touch, y'all. Now, the Bible tells us about the beast in the Antichrist system. We're going to shed some light on this and how it's relevant to the times and what we're seeing right now, currently, because the spiritual world, right, and the way that people are spiritually has morphed, it's changed, it's evolved, okay, into resembling what was prophesied in the book of Daniel. Let's shed some light on this right here, right now on the Warsheep podcast, where we believe that light creates understanding. Understanding creates love. Love creates patience, and that patience will create unity. So let's get unified in the spirit, y'all.
Is the sheep preaching hate? He says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore. If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate, he's violent.
We're heading to some real perilous times, y'all. Well, where men will rise up with this twisted type of spirit about them, as prophesied in Daniel 11:37. Now, let's take a look at what Daniel 11:37 had to say in regards to the situation. Daniel 11:37 states, neither shall he regard the Elohim of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any mighty ones, for he shall magnify himself above all. Okay, for he shall magnify himself above all. Okay, nor the desire of women. Let's break this down just a bit, y'all. Let's break it down just a bit. Now, when Daniel's speaking about this, right? The body teaches with edge. Okay, the body teaches with edge. First off, Daniel is he's showing us that this beast has no respect, y'all, for natural order, has no respect for natural order. Okay, and I want you guys to take this with you as we're going through this video, that Daniel prophesied this, and we're going to watch it manifest and unfold in current times that we're in. For first off, of course, Daniel shows us that this sort of beast, has no respect for natural order. Now, the beast is speaking morally to a system, a spirit that is on not only the people, okay, but is on society as a whole, right? And it won't be everybody who will hold the same position of this particular beast, but the beast will be very present and it will have its might and some sort of levels of power, right, in regards to it. So now, when it comes to rejecting the natural order of things, the marriage covenant without affection of a woman, you understand what I'm saying? Not only that, the natural affection of a woman, which of course, this right here explains a lot as to what we're witnessing in recent times, in current times, and why this is so significant to what you're seeing play out, not only with the Charlie Kirk situation, but other individuals or figures, okay, who are effective in what they are talking about, are presenting to the public. They're effective in talking about their viewpoints, effective in talking about a conservative viewpoint, and effective talking about faith and belief would be one of the most important things. Charlie Kirk was a man who actually was a devout Christian, right? He believed in Yeshua, he believed in Jesus, and he also said that keeping the Sabbath day and keeping it holy was something that was extremely important. Let's take a listen.
Honoring the Sabbath will change the world, basically. And it is an argument that in this hyper-materialistic, very fast, digitally frenzied world, that there is this gift that I believe the Lord gave the Hebrews that we have decided to just gloss over. And it's very simple. It's that for one day you will stop, that it will be holy, that it will be different. For those of you that are agnostic or not Christian, I still encourage you to do this. People that honor the Sabbath live longer. We know this with the Seventh-day Adventists. They actually are happier. They have better health outcomes. Everything about disconnecting from modernity is good for you. It isn't arguable. Like this is a material fact. But why is it that we have forgotten it? Well, for me personally, I work like crazy for 6 days. On Friday night, even Sunday morning, I turn my phone off and I try to stop. I try to make it distinct. I try to make it different. It's where I do my best thinking. It's where I do my best time with my family. And again, this kind of goes back to, okay, we're trying to create all this new stuff. Like, wow, we're gonna have this new technological innovation. We're gonna have this vaccine, and we're gonna be able to solve this with quantum mechanics and quantum computing. And I'm kind of like, honestly, something was told to us on Sinai that we shouldn't forget.
That's right. Something was told to us on Sinai that we should never forget. Now, something was also told to us multiple different times throughout the scriptures in regards to the people that we would see, that we would have to endure during these times, during these end times. And honestly, it is honestly being proven to be true. The scriptures have never been able to be debunked historically, right, with archaeological findings or anything along those lines, right, in regards to being able to prove the scriptures wrong. Now, you got plenty of people out here who are mockers and scorners and scoffers. Listen, we're going to go over all of that, but you have to understand something right here this day, that you got to choose who you're going to serve. You're going to have to choose who you're going to live and who you will literally give your life for. And that should be Yeshua. It should be Jesus Christ. It should be Yeshua. My thing is this, right? When we're seeing the things that we see, there's something that's brewing here in this nation that's going to take place that we all need to be prepared for as believers in the Messiah. It's not just an attack on one, it's an attack on all. But honestly, where should that attack come from? What Daniel prophesied, and later Paul reiterated in the New Testament. We're going to go over quite a bit in regards to this, but you know, the desire of women, nor the desire of women, right? Not having a desire of a natural order of love, of marriage, of a covenant agreement. We can see it, and it's been identified all too often right here, right now. I don't know if we quite realize it just yet on how prominent this truly is, and how many individuals are truly right here, and we're living through the times where Daniel prophesied. Now, the Antichrist is a definite spirit. There is a definite spirit that can be identified, that is currently taking place and is present in this day, time, and hour. And for people who have conservative viewpoints, who believe in things on a conservative level, who believe in the Most High, right? Who believe in Yeshua, who believe in their own country, who believe in standing something that is involving integrity, right? Standing for something. I want to ask you all this. When has it been to where you stood for something that was full of honor, respect, and integrity, and you've been met with a negative response? Something to where you were not received. You were actually thrown under the bus. You were actually ostracized. You were actually criticized and rebuked for pointing out the obvious facts, that something was wicked afoot, something was not right about the situation. But didn't the book prophesy this? That in these days that they will call evil good and good evil. Did it not prophesy this? As we take a look at the shots ringing out over in Utah at the community campus in Utah, and where people, the response immediately was to cheer, was to celebrate in the crowd for this man who lost his life, for Charlie Kirk, tragically lost his life. in front of his family, in front of all of America, in front of the world. Even the Asians have something to say in regards to this. I think it's important for us to take a look at what's truly going on here, to where they're calling good evil and evil good. That was an evil act that took place, that took a man's life brutally in front of the eyes of the world to see, including his family, for it to be replayed over and over and over again, all across all the social media outlets. Can you imagine growing up as one of his children and later having to have some sort of trauma or a traumatizing type of feeling towards your father's assassination, your father's shooting being publicized? Not only being publicized, but people taking their opportunities to speak on it. And a lot of them not in a positive way. A lot of them spoke very negative of the situation. Where those who rose up and spoke righteous words in remembrance of a man who stood on what he believed in. I would hope that the good outweighs the bad in this situation. I would pray that the good outweighs the bad in this situation, right? So my thing is this, right? We're gonna dive into this real quick. Let's go over to Revelation 13:7, y'all. Let's go to Revelation 13:7. All right, Revelations 13:7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. I want us to pay close attention to this, because we have to understand when this sort of antichrist spirit is rising up and coming into some positions of power. We got to know how this looks, right? They're seeking to wear out the patience of the saint, but also they were given power over the saints to overcome them, right? To make war with them. You got to know that this takes place. And so, how does this war look? It looks like a spirit that that has a lack of affection for women, or desire for women, for the natural order of marriage, of a marriage covenant, of agreements, right? That could be with any sect. You understand what I'm telling you? The natural order, meaning being against not only monogamous spaces, but also polygynous spaces, okay, of marriage. That's a natural order of love. A man and a woman, or a man and multiple women, based on what the scriptures talk about and teach us. You understand what I'm telling you? And like I said, not one of you can be able to provide one scripture that directly speaks against a man having multiple wives. In fact, honestly, it's an ancient practice that should always be a practice. You understand what I'm saying? Should never went away. But this is how you build dynasties and kingdoms. Let's continue, y'all. Let's continue. Let's listen in on one situation that I know for a fact that's going to really blow you guys' mind. I mean, this is an absolute. So let's listen in as to what truly took place in regards to the situation with Charlie Kirk, and honestly, some of the parties that had something to do with it. I want you guys to take the scriptures that we went over here and start to apply it to what videos we're gonna react to next. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive into this thing. Let's get to it.
We're now learning from breaking bombshell news out today that Charlie Kirk's killer was living a double life. His trans boyfriend and roommate is now fully cooperating with the FBI and spilling the beans on everything. I'll share what we know up to this point. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. Please share this with family and friends, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I want to give you guys the truth. Okay, first thing that I just absolutely have to bring to your attention is people on the left are circulating a photo, an edited photo of Tyler Robinson wearing a Trump American flag shirt. This is not right. This is not correct. So an account with 5 million users on X photoshopped Tyler Robinson in his dorm room in a normal shirt. They put a Trump shirt on it, and then they zoomed in and said that this is the Trump terrorist that killed Charlie Kirk. That is incorrect. That is false. You can see, look at the hat, the glasses, the bed behind him. It's the exact photo, but they've done Photoshop to try to connect him to the Make America Great Again movement, to Donald Trump, and to MAGA. Do not fall for it, and share this with others, because we have to get the truth out about what's really going on in this situation. All right, now some bombshell news came out. More details are coming out about the rage Tyler Robinson had for Charlie Kirk and right-wing politics. Yesterday, it came out that Tyler Robinson was the assassin. It also came out that he's a white male from southern Utah that was raised in a traditional home with a mom and dad and Judeo-Christian values. This new information unleashed hell on the internet. People were saying, see, he's not black. See, he's not trans. You see, he's a violent MAGA. He is a Trump fan. They killed one of their own. This is white on white crime, over and over and over again. Well, now we're learning that, yes, this young man was raised that way, but in the last 4 years, he's had a 180-degree turn since leaving home and graduating high school. This guy was deep into the dark web of left-wing ideology and left politics. He was even living with his transgender boyfriend. So this is what we're learning today. Tyler Robinson reportedly has been living with a transgender partner. They don't say a boyfriend, but a partner who was transitioning from male to female, according to law enforcement. Now, the partner is coming forward and working with the FBI to help them better understand. They're going through cell phone, computers. What videos was he watching?
I mean, what is there in need to understand in this situation? Honestly, tell you the truth, Charlie Kirk's viewpoints and position on transgenderism, on the LGBTQ community, alphabet soup community, it's always been what it's been. His position has always been against transgenderism's approach to forcing others to view them the way that they want to view themselves, forcing them, not necessarily saying that or condemning them, saying that, hey, you know, you have no right to do or choose the choice that you're choosing, right? But just to say, like, hey, I understand and identify that you may have a right, but I disagree with you forcing me to hold the same beliefs as you, forcing me to and wielding whatever control or power you feel you have over me to identify you in a light of being a so-called woman if you've been born a biological man. Those are his viewpoints. Those are his ideologies. Let's take a listen as to what he believed in regards to that, and what I believe may have been an influence, right? An influence in something that honestly made this individual want to do it, just based on the information that's being presented to us. Okay, now is this guy into transgender people or persons, right? You know, this is what narrative they're giving us. This is what they're telling us. I would like to know more information about this situation. I would like to know more about this guy, Tyler Robinson, because they did apprehend him. He is alive and he can testify to his own what his own feelings and emotions as to why he did what he did. But my thing is this, right? What I just read to you in prophecy of Daniel in regards to lack of desire of a woman, the lack of a natural order of relationship, right? The lack of natural order, in which we see that this right here, this pink, this blue, this white, this right here, this so-called flag is a representation of the Antichrist spirit. You got to understand this and understand it well. They've commandeered the rainbow, right? And they've weaponized it against also people who believe in the Messiah. They've weaponized it. The rainbow was the symbol of Yah's promise that he would never flood the earth again. The promise that came from back in Noah's time. Now we know it as the symbol of LGBTQ, taking something that was once holy and made it ungodly and unpure. You understand what I'm saying? Taking something that was once good and making it evil. Okay. Now let's go ahead and take a listen as to what some points he had on that.
Do you think men can give birth?
I think that
Yes or no question.
I think that a person who is assigned male at birth, I don't think they
Assigned male at birth, so people are not male at birth.
I think that a person.
See, your evidence that college is a scam, my friend.
So what do you say? In some cases, women with IUDs are murderers?
Of course not. They're not murderers.
So what's the difference between an IUD killing a conceived zygote and like a mother going to Planned Parenthood and killing the fetus in her womb?
That was actually the best point somebody made.
It's not about the cells.
No,
it's not about. No. I'm
I know.
speaking. No, I'm 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 speaking.
Want to say it one more time?
No, I'm speaking.
Hello, everyone. I am Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, and I am surrounded by 20 woke college kids. This claim is that trans women are not women. Okay. What's your name?
Sam.
Nice to meet you. Let's define our terms. A woman is an adult female with XX chromosomes. You tell me, what is a woman?
I think a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman.
Got it. So that's not a definition. That's like saying a table is something that identifies as a table. Give me an objective definition of
No,
how.
it's not. A table is an object.
Well, tell.
A table can't identify as anything. It doesn't have choice.
You have to give me an objective definition of what a woman is.
If I decided right now that I wanted to identify as a woman, I would be a woman.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question.
I know, but
you
right
said-
now I'm a man, right? So if
But
that
you have
happened
to
right
tell
now,
me
I'd be a
what
woman.
that thing
So
is.
once a person makes the decision to identify as a woman,
Got it. No,
they're a woman.
that's a separate issue. What is a woman? what-
That's the definition.
No, I know, but you have to tell me what.
A person who identifies themselves as a woman.
But you.
No matter what, that question, they could never get outside of their own ideology and belief in order to answer it effectively. In order to give you a valid, concrete answer, they can never really do it. In fact, they refuse to, for the simple fact that honestly, it goes directly and flies in the face of their belief. So if you were to give a solid answer that's logical, right, then honestly, it would literally conquer the argument. So you have to fabricate and form a brand new ideology, right? You got to fabricate and form a brand new answer, something that people would not be able to adhere to. But honestly, it's not concrete. It's very abstract. You can't quite put anything concrete into it, right? Because even the very thing that they claim they believe in the most, which is science, disagrees with that position. Let's continue.
How do you know that they are that thing?
How do I don't need to know what they,
No,
I can ask them if
Not
I
that
want
they
to
need
know.
But there needs to be, you need to tell me what that thing is, though.
Somebody who, okay,
You need to
sorry,
give
we're not
me-
getting anywhere. We're
You
not
need to-
getting
well,
anywhere.
no,
We're not
it's
getting
important because it's like saying a giraffe is a thing that looks like a giraffe, or a coyote is a thing that looks like a coyote. It's called circular reasoning. You have to give me a actual definition.
I don't have to. I did give you a definition.
No. You said that a woman is something that thinks they're a woman. That doesn't give me a definition. That's simply
What would you consider a definition then?
an adult female with XX
No.
chromosomes.
I mean, like what?
Well, guess what? I am a rich trillionaire philanthropist. Highly intelligent, very successful trillionaire. Just because I said it, does that make it true? Do you believe that I'm a trillionaire? Because I said it. If I were to walk into the bank to try to cash that in and say, hey, I am a trillionaire, give me trillions, will I be successful in withdrawing that money? Please tell me in the comment section below. Will I be successful in withdrawing that cash if I walked into there and said, hey, I am a trillionaire, give me trillions right now, because I believe that I am a trillionaire. Because I believe that I am a trillionaire. Will I be successful in withdrawing that cash? Please tell me, somebody. Put it in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's go.
Makes that a definition?
Hello,
Hi.
Juliana.
Juliana,
I remember,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think that you can define a woman just by her chromosomes. Women are so much more than that. They come in a variety of shapes, sizes, colors. And I don't necessarily think that you can count out somebody who's trans.
But they all have the same chromosomes. X and a Y. They all have the same. Even though they may come in different shapes, sizes, and colors, they all hold equal the same chromosomes. Before he even answers this, I haven't even watched this, okay, y'all. Before he even answers this, that was a really bad point for her to bring up or raise and argue. Okay. Now we're just taking a look as to what could have led up into the inspiration of his death. And honestly, I can't help but to weigh in, but let's continue.
Just because they don't have a certain set of chromosomes. There are also people who are born, I'm drawing a blank.
Okay. Intersex?
Yes.
So
yes.
XXY or YYX.
Or just, or like
sure.
X0 with nothing.
So natural mutations upon the binary, essentially, right?
Yes. So,
but they don't have both sex organs that both operate, right?
Yeah, but that also I don't think necessarily works, right? Because if it's X,
one is
just
more
X,
dominant
and
than
there's
the other. So
okay,
you're either more male or more female, right? So you might have both a penis and vagina, but there's never been a case of someone who can impregnate themselves.
Okay. I also don't necessarily think that works for this situation, but I also want to say that one of my best friends is trans, and I would say that she's more of a woman than I am. I think that women define themselves by multiple things, not just their sex organs. If somebody asked me who I was as a woman, I would not say I have a vagina.
Totally fair.
I would.
No, I think you said something smart. So you said that person is more of a woman than you are. Therefore, you're grading off a definition of something accomplishes womanhood. What is that?
I think it's, well, that's the thing too. And I do think that gets a little complicated, right? Because there are social norms for a gender, but I do think we try to break that, right?
No, for sure. But you said that specific friend is more of a woman than you are. Why?
I think she's a better person than me. I think she
so
lives
women are
life.
Better people?
She's a better woman than I am. I'm not saying women are better people.
But what makes a woman? Because you said she's more of a woman than you are. So I want to know what that definition is.
Right. Okay. I'm going to let somebody else go.
Yeah, so that was the argument was obvious, right? Because I mean, the characteristics, you can describe the characteristics of a woman. Well, hey, you know, anybody can mimic a woman, right? You can literally pretend to be a woman. You got some of the greatest actors on the planet who actually have played roles of a woman, but that's just their belief as to what a woman would be or act like. You got people who do comedy skits and they pretend to be a woman. They act like a woman. But does that make them a true woman? Does it make them more of a woman than her? No, absolutely not, because she has the equipment to be able to do what? To form life in her womb, right? I don't believe that her transgender friend has the equipment necessary to do what a woman can do, which is form life. He has the equipment necessary to be able to create seed, to create life. You understand what I'm saying? Within his own genitals, which is a superpower in its own right. I mean, why wouldn't you have pride in that, right? Well, you know, of course, there's got to be some sort of other influence that takes place to make you hate that part about yourself, right? The ability to create life is to where a woman has the ability to form life, you know what I mean, and bring life into the world. So, you know, a man gives a woman and a woman amplifies what a man gives her, or creates and forms what he gives her. And so they they work in tandem. Extremely important for the preservation of our race, our species. You know, it just is what it is, you know. And so also another point that she brought up in regards to you know, the situation with mutation of XXY and things like that. These are an anomaly. When this takes place and this happens, this is an anomaly in our race, our species. You do have other species, amphibians and things like that, right, that do have the capability of going either way, male or female, but not for us, not for our species. Our species are not very well known for doing this. Okay, this is an anomaly. This is a mutation, like other things that takes place within our species. It's a mutation, right? If I were to say that, you know, somebody who has an issue with their lymph nodes, let's say that I say that somebody has an issue with their lymph nodes, right? And their lymph nodes are constantly swollen just based on a genetic mutation that irritates the lymph nodes. Am I going to say that they're more of a man than I am because they have a genetic mutation with their lymph nodes, and lymph nodes is constantly being swollen or whatever it may be, they're backed up, well, whatever? No, I mean, I can't really make that claim, right? Because it's a genetic mutation. So, you just got to call it for what it is. It's a genetic mutation, or it's something that's taken as a disease within the body. Otherwise, it's abnormal. It's an abnormality, right? It's very abnormal for it to take place. It's an anomaly. It's an abnormality. It's just something that's just not, you know, that does not happen often in our species. Okay, so that's also a really bad point to argue, which he did a great job with getting her to answer her own question, right? And so we're identifying something that may have triggered the individual in regards to the decision that they made in Utah. Let's continue.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Parker, what is a woman?
A woman is an adult human person that has a desire to be in accordance with a particular set of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with the female sex. Now, define a man. Define a man.
You're looking at one, XY chromosomes in a
Okay, but does God the Father have XY chromosomes?
Okay,
prior to incarnation?
We literally have a religious
he's
topic
he's a
later.
father and he's him, but he's not a man?
We have a religious
Wait, so a
later.
man is someone with XY chromosomes, but he doesn't have XY chromosomes, yet he's still a man, and he still uses preferred pronouns?
It's actually very interesting. In the original Hebrew, Adonai, do you know what Adonai is? It's the Hebrew word for God. It's actually genderless, but in the scriptures, they use he, right? And they use Jesus Christ came to earth as a man, not as a woman, not as genderqueer. But let's go back to
but God the Father's a man, right?
Well,
because all fathers are men.
Well, first of all, there's a Trinity. So God the Father is neither man nor woman. He is omniscient, omnipotent. He is all being on top.
So why do you use he?
Well, I did not. The scriptures do. You could use woman. You could say.
Okay, let me be pretty clear about the scriptures not saying anything about a Trinity. I mean, it's given details of course, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but it never defined it as being a Trinity. So let me disagree with that. Okay, but either way, correcting myself. Okay, I believe I said XY earlier, and referring to a woman is actually an XX. So just to correct my speech on that. But of course, for a man, an XY chromosome. Honestly, the physical features of a man being, of course, bigger, larger than most women, you know what I mean? Like stronger, faster, things like that. Ability to be able to create life, whether it be XX or XY, depending on which chromosome we give to the woman to develop that life. So yeah, absolutely. But as you can see, he automatically out the gate, despite me disagreeing with his position on the Trinity, and I would always disagree with the position. Only thing that I can really say is that if you're Christian and you believe in the Trinity, find the word Trinity in the Bible for me. And then we can put it to bed. Okay, find the word Trinity in the Bible anywhere. You just pick a chapter verse. Go there and say, hey, the word Trinity is stated right here. I don't want to know any characteristics that you believe that associates with the word Trinity, but the Bible tells us to do what? Not to add to it and not to take away. So we can't add the word Trinity that is describing something that is of a cluster, right? It's making it seem as though there's not one Elohim or one mighty one or one God. It's making it seem like there is a three Godhead, right? Three different type of beings in one body, right? Which would make it three different gods, but that's not the thing. Okay. Either way, let's continue, y'all. Let's continue.
You could use him, but the way that the language is structured, again, it is so God the Father is so above gender. It is so above any of our understanding.
And why use him?
Glory and understanding. Again, because you have to make a choice, either he or him or her in the original scriptures. Let's go back to. I'm happy
some
to
fathers
get
aren't men and boys.
So
some fathers are not men and boys, not men or boys.
I'm sorry.
Some fathers are not male.
No, of course they are. I'm not.
Wait, so God the Father's a male?
Hold on, God the Father. So where do we get God the Father from? What Greek word?
From your scripture.
Well, from Abba, right, which is a very close personal term.
You're not answering my questions, and you bring up random language that doesn't matter.
Well, it actually does.
No, it doesn't.
But let me get.
Well, Abba is father in Abba is daddy in Hebrew. So Abba is father, is daddy in Hebrew. I like that he's using descriptive terms that come from Hebrew culture. Like, I really do enjoy that. I think that that's really good. I think that makes him a studied individual. I believe that he was well studied in biblical principles, because he's going based on Hebrew culture and what they considered these terms to be in the Hebraic, right? Which a lot of individuals who claim to be Christian, they do not do that. You understand what I'm saying? They don't know the book well enough to come from a Hebraic point and to describe things in the Hebrew. Okay. Now, so I give him kudos on that. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Hopefully the Father saw that what your work was on this earth, that he saw fit for you to enter into the kingdom. Bless you. Let's continue.
Down to the root of it,
because he's not a man. You know he's not a man under your worldview. You still use his preferred pronouns. You still call him a man.
Christ is a
but
man.
you don't do that with trans people because you're transphobic. That's why.
Okay, got it. But Christ is a man. I'm happy to get into the sexuality and
before
gender.
Incarnation, he's not.
Well, first, let me say this, right? Because, you know, in the beginning, you know, the Father, he formed the earth, right? The heavens and the earth. My thing is that he made us in his image. Who did he make first? Did he make Eve first, or did he make Adam first? Well, if he made Adam in his own image, that's what? That means he looks like a man. He formed Eve out of Adam. Adam came from Eve. You understand? We came from the earth. Men came from the earth. Adam, the XX chromosome, okay? The XX chromosome came from man. The XY came from the earth. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Right? Adam was formed, right? The Most High formed Adam, and the Most High also created Adam, right? The XY. So the Most High created Adam, the XX from the earth, and the Most High created Adam, the XY from Adam himself, right? From his flesh, from his rib. And then Adam named Adam Eve. You understand what I'm telling you? So he created men in his own image. So he looks like a man. I don't know how difficult this is. He looks like a man. He has the same stature, build, whatever it may be that a man has. You understand what I'm telling you? Let's continue.
The Trinity, okay?
Before Incarnation, there's no penis, there's no XY chromosomes, there's no small
hold on
gametes.
a second. Let's think about it. If that's correct, how is it then Jacob saw the face of God?
Okay, so if there's
hold on. If there was not before the Incarnation, how did Jacob see the face of God? How did Jacob wrestle with God?
Characters can have faces without biology.
How did Jacob wrestle with God?
So okay, do you think that he has a body?
Well,
or was that a figurative notion of wrestle?
That's a mystery of the scriptures. I'm not here. Well, it is. I'm not here to debate theology. Can we go back to what we're talking about?
Does he actually have biology? You keep trying to pivot because you know this debunks you.
Well,
what biology does your God have?
Well, the one of Christ our Lord.
No, I meant before Incarnation.
Well, to be honest, I don't quite know, and I don't think the scriptures.
The biology would be something that looks comparisons to a man, because of course we're made in his image. Yah made us in his own image. And so since he made us in his own image, then guess what the biology is? He would look comparisons to a man. He formed a man from the dirt. The first thing he created was a man. The second thing he created from flesh and bone, okay, was a woman. The woman with an X chromosome, and he named her Adam. And Adam named Adam Eve. Okay? Let's keep it very clear. Now, I respect him, but he could have definitely, maybe he didn't have that in his mind at the time. Yes, the Most High looks like a man. Does he have the same body parts as a man? Reproductive organisms as a man? I don't believe so. He might have formed a reproductive system so we can be able to reproduce on this earth, so we can be fruitful and multiply. There's a possibility he may still have the same genitals, but ultimately he looks and appears like a man because he created us in his own image, right? And Eve was created in the image of man. You understand what I'm telling you? But with the genitals and the body parts to be able to nurture, just as her nature is to nurture.
You don't know what a man is?
Well,
you can't define what a man is?
It's a little opaque. Again, you're looking at a man.
But your video, the largest video on TikTok is, what is a woman, 20 million views? You don't know what a man is in your own worldview?
I said you're looking at a man, right?
Wait, but God the Father doesn't meet that criteria.
Am I looking at a man?
Yes, you are.
Okay, good. Just make
a man that's beating you in a debate right now.
Okay, that's fine. So let me ask you a question, though. So do you think that anybody can become a woman?
I think that anyone who meets my criteria is a woman.
What's your criteria again?
Again, adult human person that has a desire to be in accordance with a particular set of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with the female sex.
Can society ever be wrong?
Sure, but like it's a desire to be in accordance with a set of social and cultural norms.
Can I become black?
Better question. Can science be wrong? Because a lot of these people believe in science. Can science be wrong? I've already just proven to you what a man is, and that the Most High is a man, has the physical features of a man. Let's continue.
The word blackface?
No, because it's not a desire that you have to be in accordance with a particular set of
What
social
if somebody
and cultural
wants
norms.
to be black?
Because race is
Read the
defined
last one.
phenotypically based upon the expression to other people.
But you're by some standard, you're judging that.
Do you think there's a phenotypical expression of someone who's white and someone who's black? Like I see you're white because of your phenotypical expression.
Right. So, but do you think? But Rachel Dolezal that said she is black and culturally black, is she black?
Does she have phenotypically characteristics we would associate
Define
with people who are black?
phenotypical. I'm not sure what that word
Phenotypical,
means.
it's going to be the expression.
So
of
melanin
particular
content in one's
characteristics.
skin.
Yes.
Okay. So she could pass as a black person.
Wait, so she doesn't have the melanin content?
She's borderline.
No?
She's heavily.
Okay, so then she's not black.
Okay, so you're able to say who is black and not black?
That's how we define it in society. No shit.
Okay, got it. So, but is there an objective definition of who is black?
Wait, language is all subjective. Linguistics professionals indicate it's subjective.
Language is all subjective.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Every
really?
word you just used was created by other human beings that are engaging in conversation.
Got it. No, now
you
we're-
might think it's created by God, but even then it's still
Got
subjective.
it. But now
because it came from
we're
God.
getting somewhere.
God's a
So
subject.
now we're getting somewhere. Is the word and the value behind murder objective or subjective?
Well, I think morality is subjective, but you think it's subjective too because it comes from God.
That's interesting.
Wait,
So-
does it come from God or independent of God?
Well, no, it's of course it comes from God. It's
If it-
transcendent.
that's
it's transcendent to
subjective.
human beings.
That's
No, it's not.
subjective. Yes, it is.
No.
If it comes
Hold on,
from
wait a
God,
minute.
it's specifically subjective. If it comes independent of God, then it's objective.
No,
what
it's
you just told me
God-
is
God is
also
objective
compatible
morality.
with moral anti-realism.
So let's go back to the Ten Commandments.
You don't understand
right?
meta-ethics.
Well, I hold on a second.
What does
Let's just-
subjective
let's-
morality mean? What does it mean?
Subjective morality
Define
means
it.
that it comes in everybody's own opinion, their own form,
True
not
dependent upon a
objective.
stance.
Again,
God
we're-
is a stance, and that's the
Hold
truth
on
of
a second.
morality.
So if let's believe, do you believe in if everybody believed in the concept of God, the transcendent God, that there was a 10 commandments and we should live by them, right? Is that objective morality?
No. Just because
So-
people agree
so
doesn't
then-
make it
so, okay,
objective.
then what-
Again, independent of a
then
stance.
what is
agreement? Is not independent of a stance.
what is objective morality then? Sorry, thanks. We'll be back at it next time.
All right, y'all. So as you can see like a lot of debates that took place in regards to that. This is about a year ago, y'all, where he had a debate on trans women and things like that. I mean, the last guy kind of gave him a little bit more of a challenge in regards to describing and depicting what a man is. I haven't watched that particular debate just yet in its entirety. I didn't know what would actually be asked or what would actually take place. But that was my immediate response, was that of course Adam was formed in the image of the Most High, in which Eve was formed in the image of man, right? So that's kind of is a huge sign that of course the Most High, he looks like a man, he has the characteristics of a man, right? And of course a woman is made in the image of man, right? But also with the reproductive system and organs to be able to sustain life on this earth, right? Life in our species on this earth. It's just the brilliant design of the Most High to be able to make one who is truly a helpmeet to be able to help sustain life in the life that the man created, help form the life that the man created, help sustain the life that the man created. Do you understand how powerful that queen is on your chessboard? It's very wise for you to choose wisely which queen you decide to procreate with or to multiply with. You understand? It's very important because she holds the power to sustain life, to create life, and to assist you in your life and what life you create. You created life. She has the innate ability to help you sustain that life you create and to maintain that life you created. You understand what I'm saying? So choose wisely, fellas. You know what I mean? All right, so let's get back to this video, guys. I just really wanted to dive into that because of the simple fact that we know his position now on transgenderism. You understand where this particular individual was at when it came to his world. Okay, he was raised in Utah, right? Or he came from a Mormon background. The family was Mormon. I've done a video on Mormons, okay? And Mormons are starting to receive and accept transgenderism and LGBTQ into their churches. They're integrating with that. They're promoting it. They are accepting it. Okay, they're marrying it. They're saying it's okay, right? And they're starting to form their own opinions based on how much they can also actually profit from that community. Okay, so he's just following after what his religious belief was, right? Mormons are starting to form their own sides, okay? Mormon is a whole totally different type of cult on its own, and they have their own book, which, you listen, I respect it, because guess what? The Bible just ain't gonna cut it for them, okay? They have their own book though, right? And they're a cult. So you see the mindset shift. You see the mindset shift. Let's go ahead and get back to our other video, and let's go ahead and get more context, okay, as to what truly was taking place during this time, and how we can get this correlated to Daniel's prophecy, and as well as the prophecy that was written out.
Watching, what articles was he reading? Where was he getting all of his information? Now, the person is described as Lance Twigg, and is a biological male that identifies as female and was in the process of transitioning while living together and dating. Again, this is just the news that's out today. But this person is fully cooperating with the FBI. Now, we don't know that there's any involvement, so I don't want any hate heaped upon this person, but obviously there was a lot more going on than we know. And so we've got to get to the bottom of this situation. Now, authorities credit communication between Robinson and Lance, primarily text messages, access to Discord chats, as pivotal in identifying and even apprehending him. The roommates shared messages from an account named Tyler discussing a rifle drop point, instruction for retrieving and hiding the weapon, and reference to bullet cases matching those at the scene. These exchanges helped confirm Robinson's involvement shortly after surveillance images were released, leading to his surrender with his father's assistance. Now, did you hear what I just said? So let me just read this to you guys one more time. The roommate shared a message from an account named Tyler discussing a rifle drop point, how to retrieve and hide the weapon, and reference to the bullet casings matching the crime scene. I don't think that this is one person. Here's what's been bothering me personally, and I showed you guys this yesterday. There's video of him on a Ring doorbell camera on 800 Street. He's walking and limping. Many people thought he had injured himself from dropping. Then it was discovered, based on timestamps, that this was him walking to the event. And he's limping probably because he has a gun in his pants. Either that, or to throw off the Ring doorbell cameras that he was somebody else, right? Like, oh, it couldn't have been this limping guy because we have the runner running and jumping off of a roof, right? So
no, he had the rifle stuffed in his pants. Listen, trust me, I grew up around the way. You know, when you've done a thing or two, you understand what I'm saying? And you gotta put a shotgun or conceal a shotgun. You understand what I'm saying? Because you about to run down on the ops. Let's just keep it real, okay? Let's just keep it real. Your brother Barack, listen, in the youth do some really crazy things, right? But you can tell by the limp, by the way he's walking, it's not necessarily a limp. He's just keeping his leg as straight as possible because he has the rifle in his pants. So yeah, absolutely. It's not to throw off a Ring camera, it's just to conceal the rifle for now, right?
So here's the thing that's mysterious. All of a sudden, everything the FBI is sharing, him walking around, walking up and down the stairs, going up the ladder, jumping off the roof, there's no gun. There's no gun getting to the roof, and there's no gun when he gets off. And magically, they find a gun and unspent bullets in a forested area behind the school. So how did he get the gun in, and how did they get the gun out? Something is not adding up. But according to this roommate, under this Discord chat named Tyler, instructions on rifle drop-off, hiding and retrieving the weapon, and the bullets described. Now, investigators are examining the roommate's insight, trying to better understand the thinking of Tyler Robinson. Now, reports indicate that he comes from a conservative family in Utah, had been deeply indoctrinated over the last couple years with leftist ideology. This includes far-left content, anti-fascist influence, and possibly transgender-related material, though specifics remain limited. The bullet casings at the scene were engraved with phrases from video games and an Italian anti-fascist song, but early claims of transgender ideology were debunked and then later were made true. And now everyone's saying, what is the truth? Because how did the gun get there? And how did the gun get into the woods? None.
All right, y'all. So hopefully this is starting to paint a picture for you all, right? And hopefully it's starting to develop more of a picture or more of a motive, more of that. But, you know, of course, we know that we got to question everything that comes out from mainstream media, from anybody else who may have given you the information, FBI, whatever it may be, because they tend to like to spin their own narrative. You understand what I'm saying? You know, we know this guy was caught up into a relationship that was, I guess an alphabet soup type of relationship, right? Where he was dating this guy. And of course, he considered himself to be trans. And so my thing is that, you know, we also see that he has debated his points of view on those debates and what may trigger those things right now. Some people may feel guilt, shame, some sort of level of distress that will lead them to making a decision to, I guess, delete someone, right? Which, of course, that's never the answer, because this individual, of course, I believe his name is Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson was not a criminal by any stretch of the imagination, right? He was just a normal guy. He was a regular kid who honestly probably had the same pressure and societal norms, pressure from the family to be on a level of success. You know, some of the more basic, issues that come from, maybe like a Caucasian home, right? That I will believe would come from a Caucasian home. The pressures to go to college, the pressures to have a family, white picket fixed, the American dream that so many people are sold out on, but never will achieve really in this time and hour that we're in. Listen, they're finding more ways for people not to reach the American dream than they are actually allowing people to reach it, right? Just for the simple fact of, the roadblocks. But my thing is that this is what pressures is on this young boy. Now, let's say that, of course, his family figures out that he's in this secret relationship with a trans person, right? I mean, the Mormon church has already been actively supporting the alphabet soup community, right? Maybe at one point his family members would have saw the light, but they were Republican people. They voted for Trump. They had these viewpoints of conservative viewpoints that, of course, he obviously was rebelling against, okay, with this antichrist spirit. So, we're painting this picture. We're actually seeing what the motive is. And, when you are on a certain side and you're defending a certain position, you usually come and do so with a certain level of, I guess, hatred, right, toward another group. But honestly, the left, these people have always spoke in a way that honestly was not favorable, right? Like, they kind of spoke in ways that really were insightful of violence, right, in regards to these people who are a part of this community, and they're far left, right? And so, when you have people who are inciting violence, who are speaking as though violence is going to be the answer, you usually get a byproduct, right? A byproduct that is weaponized, and that will literally go out and strap on a bomb to defend their beliefs. You see it with the more radical groups. And so if you're going to be somebody who's far left and you're going to speak rhetoric that is dangerous, okay? Dangerous that incite violence, then you'll get violence. It'll manifest itself in reality. This spirit, this antichrist sort of spirit, will start to really manifest its own violence, right? And not only that, they'll mobilize to accomplish a mission. The mission is to strike fear in the hearts of the conservative party, right? Conservative people who believe in a traditional form of relationships, right? Believing that men and women should be together, believing that this is the way to go. You understand what I'm saying? The traditional roles or traditional rules, you know, they'll start to mobilize against it, start to form against it, and do certain things, right, to strike fear in the hearts of those, so they'll quit speaking out, right? They'll quit speaking out. People like myself, people like others, like Candace Owens, like of course, like Charlie Kirk, individuals who are like this, who are speaking in conservative values, okay, and having values that are morals and values that come from a biblical position, or a standpoint of having faith in the Most High, right? They view us as a threat to their way of life, their new way of life, the way that they see life should be lived. They view it as a threat. Ultimately, you know, there's nothing you can really do against that, right? You got to understand how to combat it, and understand it by picking it apart. Let's take a listen as to what that looked.
She was
a war. This isn't a battle, and we absolutely will win this war.
It is a war. It is indeed a war. And I have to say, they have won some battles, Jasmine, but we have to keep our eye on the war, and everybody needs to pick up a weapon and get involved, because this is for the safety and lasting of the country.
So our words don't encourage violence. Our words are clean. We can't determine what our people will do when we tell them how evil Trump is, or how evil Charlie Kirk is. But then we're at war, and everyone needs to pick up a weapon and fight. We're at war.
Yeah.
So what message are you sending people? These are the most evil people on the planet. They're equal to Hitler. We're at war. Pick up a weapon. And then they say all of the violence comes from the right. Give me a break. This is just pure propaganda. Absolutely propaganda.
Now, like the scripture said, they will seek to make war with the saints. These individuals who have the lack of interest, desire of a woman, listen, they will seek to war with the saints. The ones who what? Keep the testimony, who keep the commandments. They are seeking to war with you. You got to understand that this is what this is, not only spiritually, but also physically. You understand what I'm saying? Let's continue.
Now,
and by no means am I inciting any violence, right? But I'm inciting that you get aware, that you wake up and prepare yourself in your house. Let's
former
continue.
U.S. cybersecurity expert Mike Benz, he's been on the show a couple of times. He says, you know what? It is time for a public firing squad so that people can see with their own eyes that there is consequence for bad behavior. Let me go ahead and play that for you.
Since we find this monster, I want him strung up. I want crows to eat his insides out. I want it to be publicly televised after a guilty verdict, due process, and administered by the law. But I want the most monstrous, gruesome death that we just had to watch. I want that to be etched into the halls of eternity, so that anyone who tries to do anything like this ever again sees what their own insides look like. National television. And their family will have to see it the way Charlie's has had to see his. I think about whoever did this, if they had to stand in a room with Charlie, and how Charlie would tower over them, how they wouldn't stand a chance in a fist fight or a verbal fight or anything. And a coward, a pussy. Whoever that is, the most unspeakable things have to be administered by our law enforcement.
All right. We now know who it is. We know we're getting more details about how this young man was indoctrinated, his mind, the woke mind virus poisoned his mind. Let me know in the comments, is this too harsh? Is this the exact punishment?
Now, let me say this, y'all, that the scripture says that whatever you sought to do your brother, it should be done unto you. Okay. If you're found guilty, I wouldn't say that this would be a very, I guess, harsh type of punishment, but, firing squad, death by firing squad in a public format, if found guilty, if got the right person, if this is like without a doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is who it is, this is the shooter, then yes, whoever the shooter is should meet that same fate. But we'll see what happens. Um, we'll see what happens. Now, also, of course, we have Elon Musk, who also weighed in on the situation in regards to the insightfulness. Like, guys can look this up all day long. How the left is inciting violence, right, and promoting violence on their side, and having people actually stand up and arm themselves. We're going to dive into that even the more so, right, as to how the left is arming themselves and mobilizing against the people who are conservative, believe in conservative beliefs, who don't believe that transgenderism is okay to push on the public and force us to believe. Whereas to where you have some individuals who want to give them power, who want to give the alphabet community power over us, right? Well, we can't speak on anything because of the simple fact freedom of speech is being ripped, or is being replaced with being offensive to a group of people, right? Or to a sect of people. People don't want to work with you if you have viewpoints that are contrary to the alphabet community. They don't want to work with you. They want to take certain things from you. They want to demote you. They want to put you in a certain light, right? And so that right there is giving them power over us, us who believe in the Bible, who believe in the scripture, who follow Yeshua, who follows Jesus the Messiah. Is giving them power over us because we don't have a voice. We no longer have a voice. We no longer can say no, and it'll be consequences. You'll get a bullet in your neck if you feel as though you want to debate with the principles of the alphabet community. If you disagree with them, then it's a bullet in the neck, and you have celebrations all across America, right? In regards to you being assassinated and taken out for your viewpoints and your conservative ideology. Let's continue. Let's hear what he has to say in regards to this thing.
What Elon Musk had to say today.
And then you see how much violence there's on the left, with our friend Charlie Cook getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder.
Crazy.
And celebrating murder. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. That's who we're dealing with here. That is who we're dealing with.
So a lot of people have criticized Elon Musk for saying that the left is the party of violence, the left is the party of murder. But right now, thousands of people have been fired for their horrible, distasteful, grotesque reaction to Charlie Kirk's death. I've maybe never witnessed anything so vile in my life. Watching this young man be gunned down, and then how people reacted to it with laughing and mocking and t-shirts and statues and cartoons and just vile vitriol, calling for Charlie Kirk's widow to be taken out, his children. I mean, just absolutely grotesque. I've never witnessed anything like this in my whole life. And yet, on the other side, you have over in Korea, you have people are literally holding giant vigils for Charlie Kirk. So in 17 nations, they're holding vigils. And in South Korea, even though they speak Korean, they're chanting, "We are Charlie Kirk." So this new call for freedom it's a wake-up call to all of us. All right.
All right. So we all got to know for a fact that this is what's taking place in this country and across the world. The world is experiencing this the same way that we are. You understand what I mean? In regards to it being so publicized and the death being as to what he stood for, right? What he stood for and his opinions. A lot of those individuals in Korea are probably chanting, "We are Charlie Kirk," and they may not have the same viewpoints. They may not have disagreed with him, but it's the disagreement and being able to express that disagreement. That's the reason why we are all Charlie Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? Because we all have the opportunities to receive a bullet in the neck for what we stand and believe in. And in order to preach and teach the Messiah, right, there will come a time where they're going to want to stop that from being a thing. And honestly, will we receive a bullet in the neck in order to continue to speak about the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus, the Messiah? Will we receive that gladly? Will we go on to our death? Will we meet that appropriately for the simple fact that the gospel is what stands true? The gospel is what stands solid. Have you been tested in the area of endurance? Have you been tested and tried in the area of endurance and had to believe and put all your faith and your trust in the Most High in order to get you out of a situation? Are to accept your fate no matter what? You're going to stand on your truth, stand on your business, and continue on. I want to dive deep into another video here that really does show you. It's going to paint the picture now. It's going to complete the story, okay? In regards to what we're coming to face. Are we at civil war? Will we be at civil war? Will civil war take place on U.S. soil in regards to belief systems, in regards to faith and ideology? Will that take place? Will we have to defend our very rights, defend our belief? Will we have to do that? Let's take a look as to what's taking place here in this country. And I want you to form your own decision on this, your own opinion based on all the things that I presented to you here today.
We are in a place where in a continuous downwards, whether it be a civil war, collapse. Some of us want to kill each other for no other reason than what we've been told by the news.
You have something to say?
I sat through the Trump presidency and did nothing, and I was ashamed of myself for that. From January 6th, I realized this was also around the time I was coming out as trans. The right wing is full of psychopaths that they are armed, they out-arm us, they out-organize us. So willing to oppress us via violence and legislation. And in this way, I decided there needs to be more leftist armed formations to counter this. So I am with the Wisconsin John Brown Gun Club. We are big on community defense, advocacy, especially for marginalized communities, seeking an alternative outside Genocide Joe or Fascist Trump. We expect there to be unrest, and there's a lot of fear-mongering that goes into right-wing politics as well. So leftists in particular are worried because we see the downward spiral to fascism. By left, I mean actual leftists, like communist, anarchist. I don't mean liberals. You guys aren't left. You're conservative.
So this is the thing, right? As you can see, they're mobilizing, they're forming, they're starting to put together a militia of sorts, right? Called the John Brown Gun Club, right? And honestly, they try to make it sound good, right? Honestly, trying to say racism, but mostly they mean they're defending against racism and fascism. But really, it's the viewpoints and the ideology of biblical principles. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's nothing biblical about their lifestyle. So they can't stand on biblical principles. But if you do stand on biblical principles, right, and you don't believe that you should be forced to believe in the alphabet community and pushing it off on not only your children, but also on yourself, you have to adhere to what they're saying. And they're trying to give power to them over you. You understand what I'm saying? Then guess what? You're on that hit list, regardless on if you're far left, regardless on what's going on here. If you're a conservative individual who believes in the law, statute, commands of the Most High, you're a threat to these people. Let's continue.
If you read books on fascism, like they're near identical to what's happening in the United States. You have appeal to nostalgia or appeal to a mythic past, like the Aryan race or Make America Great Again. They're rallying the evangelical voters. They have taught that we're coming after their kids. Just like they do in every genocide ever, they're wrapping up their dehumanization of us.
You are a mental illness, bitch. Wow, you and your 6-year-old bride must make nightmares together. Trash Hamas. My fiance is the exact same age I am, 26. You are one of the ugliest person I've ever seen. Secondly, you are gay. I'll kill you out in the field, then scalp your dyke head Lamau.
The fact that Americans like myself feel the need to now protest with a rifle in our hands, part of it's a message that we will not take these continuous attacks on our rights standing down.
You know, and I don't think that I can stress that enough. You got to be prepared. And in what you're currently looking at, you got to be ready. You got to be prepared. As you can see, they will mobilize on you. They will form against you. And a lot of these groups like the John Brown Gun Club, a lot of these groups who start to form together, they like to start to try to run more missions, right, in regards to eliminating, assassinating, and things like that, right? Key figures, public speakers who speak against their belief, And I have reasons to believe that they've formed a list of individuals that they see as being a threat. We'll get into that in a minute, but let's continue on this real quick, y'all. Let's continue.
So people are wondering why things are not the way that our country said that they would be. Why isn't the American dream occurring? You need to have decided that should the time come, you are willing to end a person's life. It is not an easy choice to make. These are not toys. If mishandled, can end a life. And if handled properly, under the right intent, can end a life. You need to have made that decision before you picked up a gun, that you would be willing to take that shot.
When we started this, especially in the 60s, 70s, even in the 80s, the media portrayed us as being paranoid and hunker in the bunker. But we got hit with the pandemic, which really woke people up to, hey, I went to the store and there was nothing at the store. Hey, there were all this civil disorder. They saw the police couldn't necessarily control that. Now, at this point, it's mainstream.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about urban invasion.
We're going to talk about 5 ways that you can survive the imminent civil war in the United States.
Some of the gear that you might want to be putting together before this election season goes.
What equipment should I buy?
Yeah. See, now this is what it's going to result to. It's going to result to you having to educate yourself on these key points that will keep you in survival, that will keep you surviving throughout times where we know it may be on the rise. You know, we should hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? And so this is what times we're currently in. There's rumors of a civil war that's going to be taking place. You got to keep that in full focus, that this may happen, this may take place, and who do you need to be able to trust? What do you need to do? What's the game plan? Are you prepared? Do you have equipment to where you can be able to sustain yourself and your family? So, you know, are you geared up? Do you have equipment? Are you prepared? Right. And if you're not, get started. Start, you know, collecting what you can. Okay. And so this is what I'm saying. Let's continue for a little bit longer.
This whole country is so divided. I've never seen anything like this in all the years that I've been alive. That it used to be that I had confidence in our politicians, and now I don't trust anything that I hear from politicians, and I don't trust that the politicians will help and protect us.
When we talked about safety, finger should be outside and never on the trigger.
It's going to be bad no matter who wins. How bad? I don't know. I just don't know, but I'm really concerned about what's going to happen in November.
Defend himself with a gun.
Maybe the last election unleashed a lot of nasty. I think racism has always been an issue in this country. White supremacists have always existed, but they've almost been given permission to behave badly.
You're shooting, what, 5 rounds? 4 need to be on that paper.
You gotta know, like, you gotta hear what she's saying as far as white supremacy and racism. You know, both sides have a agreement there that racism is not okay. A lot of them do agree with the position of racism not being okay. Hatred of another race is not okay. And others do not agree with that position. So, you know, of course, there's an agreement there. But when it comes to religious beliefs, when it comes to beliefs in faith, right, faith-based beliefs, and not agreeing with the, I guess, LGBT or alphabet community, that's something totally different. Let's continue, y'all. Let's continue.
I feel I want to be prepared for the worst case scenario. I want to have a lot of water in my apartment, even if I'm the only person left standing, and food, because it's going to happen. It's a matter of when. I don't know what's right or wrong. I think it's a big mess, and it's very sad. And I have a daughter who's going to have kids, and I just feel, oh my God, this is not a world to bring children into at this point.
That's sad to say.
The victim that we're going to see his family now and clean up his neighborhood, and my grandfather were both.
All right, so he's a co-founder of BLM. Okay, co-founder BLM and Black Opportunities. Black Lives Matter. I'm gonna be upfront and honest. I've never really seen anything positive come from BLM. I've never seen anything positive for the Black community come from BLM. I have not seen anything. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Right? In fact, they done what they need to do to grift the people, to take an advantage of others' death, right? Wrongful death, and to be able to line their pockets with more wealth and to acquire mansions and homes and, you know, fund the alphabet community and not actively, effectively make change and enact change in their communities. That's what you're all about, Black lives, right? Because they do matter. So why wouldn't you stay true to that name and affect change within your own community and not try to promote change in the alphabet community? Okay, let's continue.
See his family now and clean up his neighborhood, and my grandfather were both murdered in the same park.
That's crazy.
Right here is where Eric Dupree died. He allegedly sold crack to a cop, and he was riding a scooter on the sidewalk to get away, and a cop picked up a cooler, a 40-pound cooler, and smashed it into his head, crushed his skull, and killed him. Who do we avenge? Wow. Justice for? Wow. Say his name. Wow. Yeah. So today we're here in the place where he was killed to clean it up. So you have community groups who have come together with high school students to beautify this neighborhood. And particularly Black Americans. We're at a point where we can't trust the Democrats anymore because they've made so many promises and they haven't followed through on them. And the Republicans flat out tell us that they don't care about us. So Black people are at a place where they must provide for themselves. They must.
Okay, so I disagree with the Republican standpoint. Honestly, you got to understand the nature of the Republicans. To strengthen the business within our nation is something that is a focal point because it will bring more jobs, more stability. Whereas to where if you're looking for a handout in the Black community, if you're a Black person looking for a handout, guess what? You're going to lose every time. You understand what I'm telling you? You won't agree with the Republicans and what their viewpoints are because you're looking for a handout. You're looking for government assistance, as to where Republicans are looking to not be so involved in your personal life, which they were formed to protect our borders, to protect our property and things of that nature, right? They weren't formed to be so intrusive in our every day-to-day life unless you invited them in. You get what I'm saying? The first Republican Party was an all-Black party, okay? Let's continue.
Spend money with each other, keep it in our community. We must take control of our schools and educate ourselves. We must get guns and defend ourselves. We are at a point where we must control our destiny. They don't want to give up America. Remember the last time? They wanted to give Black people rights and freedom. We went to war. And now Black people are taking strides. You know, gay, trans people are taking strides. Women are making strides. And these old, rich white men and these poor, white trash crackers hate it. Hate to see other people getting a piece of the pie. If there is a civil war, we are going to take care of us. These kids are now getting familiar with weapons. The important thing is, you know, we have to develop their minds first. And now that they've reached a certain point, we're teaching them how to use weapons and firearms. There's a lot of Democrats who don't agree with me, who say that, you know, guns cause crime. Black people are killing Black people. No, poverty causes crime.
We, the people, are supposed to be the masters of the government, not the other way around. It's no longer really we, the people, anymore. It's the government that sort of allows the people to do things that they think is okay. I worked with a group where we made a presence in border areas and drug smuggling areas, human trafficking areas, trying to forward information onto border patrols in order to report back to them on like where some heavy traffic was. You know, the Biden administration has done very little to, to slow that flow of people. So I think that's going to be a key, probably a very key component of this upcoming election. I'm also not naive enough to think that the left and right aren't two wings of the same bird.
Yeah.
If I were to use two words for the state of our government, and the state of the elections, I would say shit show. So first thing when zeroing anything, whether it's a red dot, whether it's a prism, whether it's an LPVO or scope or whatever, we are so used to printing money out of control. We are so used to the government expansion that I don't know that there is a point of return. There are very, very crazy people in this country on the both left and right. With that said, that's probably the smallest portion of society.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
All right, so you guys see what's taking place in regards to civil war. See, civil war being something that may be brewing. And I want to say this, right? When you see the forming of a particular group of people who disagree with the viewpoints in the direction that the nation is going in, they'll start to form some sort of list, a hit list. And a lot of times the far left or Democratic Party, people who are in positions of power, you can say AIPAC, right? IPAC. You can say individuals who are looking for the country to go in a certain direction that is a more antichrist direction. They'll start to form their own opinions in regards to, or they'll start to form their own sort of militia or team, whatever they need to do in order to eliminate the competition that is being effective with their voice and inspiring people to continue to hang on to not only their rights, but also their conservative values. Let's take a listen as to what Andrew Tate has to say in regards to a list of individuals who are being targeted because they're being effective with their.
Andrew, how are you?
Quite deeply affected, to be honest.
I read your one of your tweets. There's a few of them. They're pretty strong statements that you've made. One of them says it's not only Charlie, there's a list, they're coming for the rest of us. What do you mean by that?
We no longer live in any kind of civilized political discourse. The left and the right are not arguing about interest rates or economic policy. This is a complete different worldview. These people lack spirits and souls, and they believe that anybody who disagrees with them or says a word counter to their narrative deserves a bullet in the neck. This is no longer political discourse. This is a divide which is much larger than most divides, which caused endless wars across the planet. And Charlie Kirk was killed for being the good guy, for being the nice guy. He hasn't been nearly as inflammatory as I have with many subjects. And they believe we deserve death, and they celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk in a disgusting, inhumane manner. Let's not forget, because it's easy to forget, attempts. Not only did they try to kill Trump, but we forget it because they were unsuccessful. They tried to kill Nick Fuentes. We forget it because they were unsuccessful. Did you even know they tried to kill me? Type Andrew Tate knife attack. Last month, somebody put on a high-vis vest pretending to be a builder, trying to get access to my house with a blade. And when he was identified, started slashing randomly because he couldn't kill me. So I'm on a death list also. And the media is spinning and hyper-radicalizing low IQ people into attacking anybody who has a worldview that's different to theirs. The media is absolutely, completely complicit. And I would argue that very few people on the planet had larger voices for the masculine youth than Charlie Kirk. If you want to say some names which are possibly up there, it's myself and Nick, and we've already had attempts on our life. This is disgusting. And this is no longer a political divide. This is no longer about policy. This is about good and evil. This is about right and wrong. This is a war. This is almost an unfixable problem. When people are laughing and celebrating a father dying in front of his children, because he disagreed with their worldview, especially when their worldview is wrong. Let's analyze as professionals. If you're going to sit and tell the world that men can be women because they put on a wig, and they believe you deserve a bullet in the neck the second you disagree with them, they are fighting objective reality. You can't agree or disagree with these people. Where is the political solution for people you cannot agree, disagree, conversate, or debate with? You tell me how we have a political solution to this. I'm on a forever kill list, as was Charlie, as is Nick, as is Trump, as is anyone who tries to enforce basic reality, as is Elon. Elon saved the world. He's trying to make humans multiplanetary, and people will laugh if he dies. Do you understand the spiritual sickness we're discussing here? This isn't politics. This isn't policy. This is a complete lack of souls. You know, people often attack me for toxic masculinity, and the masculine essence in and of itself always had respect for their adversaries. When you finish fighting, you shake hands. Even generals in old wars would show respect to their opponent after they killed them, or they would allow surrender. There's always been a degree of respect in combat amongst the masculine mindset, the masculine realm. But these new liberals, this hyper-feminized feminist, even the men are basically girls. Harry Sisson, Dean Withers, they're female. They have no respect for the sanctity of life. If somebody annoys them or disagrees with them once, they believe that person deserves to die and they celebrate it. That's not the masculine way. My worst enemy could die in front of his children. I would do nothing but support his family. I would send them money and make sure that his kids could eat. My worst enemies. We are living in the most disgusting period of human history. This is
now. So here's the question. When you look at society today, when you see the push to erase gender normalities, to destroy the core family values, you understand what I'm telling you? To glorify promiscuity and perversion, and silence anybody who stands for those values to continue to be the core values that build nations. When you see that there's a push to silence them, right? When they're being targeted, when they're being listed as individuals to eliminate, listen, what do? Do you see the beast system that is forming? The beast system that Daniel prophesied about, that Revelation speaks on, the individuals who will become mockers and scorners, and all these other people who will be literally waxing cold. The love of many shall wax cold. Do you see the biblical principles jumping right off of the biblical prophecies jumping right off of the pages? This isn't just politics, y'all. This is prophecy. This is Daniel's prophecy. This is what Paul spoke on. This is what John wrote about. All saw this coming. They saw the same thing. It was the same situation, scenarios, and conditions. I want you to form your own opinion based on what was presented to you here today. I believe that you better believe that we're living in the end times, that we're living in the last days, where these words are coming to life, where these prophecies are manifesting here in our reality. Okay? You need to stay alert in these times. Stay rooted in the foundations of the knowledge of the truth, which is the biblical principles. Okay? Stay rooted in those biblical principles. And never bow to the system, the beast system that wishes for you to turn away from the natural things that you were formed to do by the Most High Yah. You understand what I'm telling you? Listen, this is the Warsheep podcast, and I appreciate you guys joining me here live, joining me for this premiere of this video here today. I really hope that we really got some edification out of it, honestly, so we can be able to see what's truly going on. Don't forget to like, to share, and to drop something in the comment section. What do you believe? Do you see that the beast system is starting to form? That the Antichrist, the spirit of the Antichrist is starting to form and starting to become a reality. Let me know what you see in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for joining me. Okay. Don't forget that somewhere in your future, you are healed. All right. We're going to go ahead and close this thing out. We'll see you guys in the next video. All right. Peace.
What does it really mean? Y'all said who gon' stand for me? For the evil that I see. Who gon' stand for me? Against all this iniquity. Warsheep, Warsheep, Warsheep is our sheep. 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 Who gon' stand for me? Who gon' stand for me? Who gon' stand for me? Against all this iniquity. Warsheep, Warsheep, Warsheep is our sheep. 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 Who gon' stand for me? Who gon' stand for y'all? Who gon' stand for Jesus? Who gon' stand for me? The truth is on fire. We don't need no water, let the Holy Spirit burn. The truth is on fire. We don't need no water, let the Holy Spirit burn. Who gon' stand for me? Who gon' stand for me? Who gon' stand for me? Psalms 94:16. Who gon' stand for me? Who gon' stand for me? I will.